Good afternoon. Welcome to our Chattanooga City Council meeting for Tuesday, March 10th, 2026. Today I have the pleasure of leading the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation, so please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, Council, some of you, but not all of you, know that I've been part of a 9-month cohort with the local faith co-op. It's called Main and Market Partners. And with that, we're exploring the intersection of faith and work. And at a recent retreat, had the challenge to rewrite the Lord's Prayer in honor of our work. And so this is a liturgy for Council Tuesdays. Our Father, who art in heaven, join our city leaders in today's work. May Chattanooga be a new Jerusalem, flowing with your justice, mercy, and righteousness through Christ our Lord. Give us today the resources and wisdom we need to represent the people of District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And steward the 191,000 souls who call our city home. Forgive us our pride and self-reliance. Inspire us to readily humble ourselves in forgiveness of others. Protect us from the temptations of impatience, arrogance, and callousness. Keep our ears alert to the sound of suffering, our minds attuned to the impacts of chaos, and our hearts open to new perspectives. Rescue us from ourselves and our assumptions, for you set our world in motion and are King of all civilization forever and ever. Amen. Since we have no special presentations this afternoon, can I get a motion on the minutes, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Motion, the minutes will stand without objection. Okay, so we're going to jump into discussing our agenda for today. We don't have any committee or department reports at the top of our meeting, so we won't be coming back for those after this. We have some items that are ordinances under final reading. If you have any questions or concerns, please hit your light. I will note that after today's agenda session, we will have an attorney-client meeting. Okay, ordinances under first reading. We have several planning items up for consideration tonight. The first three are related to the code overall. And the first item that is a planning case is item D. Councilman Elliott and Councilwoman Burrs, you have your lights lit. Is it for items A, B, or C? No. Okay, all right, then I'm going to go ahead and address item D before we move on to the next one. So item D is in District 2, and we have received a formal request from the applicant to withdraw this case. So I would welcome a motion to withdraw case 2025-0168. Thank you. Okay, Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councilman Clark is unable to join us today, so he has asked for a couple things pertaining to item E. We are going to hear from the Karen and the developer for this item as their most recent plans they're drawing up. And he is also going to be seeking for a deferment until March 24th for this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was going to address the same thing if you hadn't, because because he reached out, it sounds like, to both of us. But I will, since I've already got the floor. Item F did meet with the Neighborhood Association, and I will be making a motion to approve with some conditions. And the developer or the engineer is here today as well, and he's going to speak just for a minute about it during our regular meeting with regards to those conditions.
And
and Karen will as well.
Does staff or our attorney have a copy of those conditions?
Not yet, but I will make sure that they have them during the break.
Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
I think Karen added them to the slides, and she does have them, so.
Super.
Unless we make any changes, we do have them ready.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, council, any other planning items to discuss? All right, seeing none, let's take a look at resolutions, please. All right, looks like we are good on resolutions, council. Let's go ahead and move over to purchases, except I see Councilman Elliott here has an item. Also, I did want to point out, council, there is a very small but important difference between economic development items B and C. They are almost identical, except one of them is renewing an agreement with CARTA, and the other is renewing an agreement with the Cassette Skate Shop. Those are the differences on that. Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to provide some context. If we decide to pass item A under resolutions, in a few weeks, probably 6 to 8 weeks, we can expect a presentation from Public Works, approximately. If some changes, will let us know, but at least so folks know that there'll be some follow-up coming behind this resolution if it is passed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, council, let's take a look at our purchases for this evening. We have several purchases today, along with a handful of RFPs and one sole source purchase. Do we have any questions about any of those items? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead then and look at our 2-week agenda, please. For first reading, we have several different mandatory, or a couple of different mandatory referrals, a zoning item. Looking at resolutions, I'd like to welcome up Darren Ledford to talk about item D for next week. This is a resolution authorizing Parks and Outdoors to enter into an MOU with Launchpad.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of council.
Hello.
I'd like to make an introduction to somebody who needs no introduction in the city of Chattanooga, and that is the incredible person that I've known for a long time, doing fantastic work in this city in the realm of wellness from recovery and addiction. In regards to this is a pretty important project that they are undertaking, and we're grateful for it. So if you'll allow me to introduce to you, as you already know, Scotty Bowman from the Launchpad, founder and CEO, but also Shelley Armstrong, Executive Director, and Kelly Cruz, the Clinical Director, and they will be happy to explain to you more about what this project is hoping to accomplish.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello, I'm Scotty Bowman, founder of the Launchpad. We're here to talk about the possibility of putting a box for free Narcan in Miller Plaza. We think this project's really important because there's really no place for anyone to receive free Narcan, and it does save lives. The stigma that goes around about them having to either go to the health department or go and pay for this item, it really keeps people from having that on hand when someone does have an overdose on opioids. And we've projected about 10 boxes a day to be given out across the city. Kelly has been very involved with the health department and the county to try and get this project underway. I think the county is going to sponsor the project, but we need the city to allow us to put the box in Miller Plaza. We've chosen Miller Plaza because we feel like it's a central location. And maybe down the road, there'll be other areas that we can put the boxes in. But I'm going to introduce Kelly Cruz, our clinical director, to talk more about it. She has a few slides to show you.
Yes, just a few slides. Hello, council members. My name is Kelly, and I am the clinical director at the Launchpad. I'm assuming that y'all all know what the Launchpad is, but currently today we are housing 52 women in their first year of sobriety, so we're making a big impact on our community. This idea actually came out of the it's the original Addiction and Dependency Committee. It's a meeting of like stakeholders. We meet once a month, but it was a little focus group that we were doing. And it's an initiative where we would repurpose old newspaper boxes. So the Times Free Press has agreed to give us an old newspaper box, and we would fix it up like this one and keep it full with Narcan. So the concept is simple but impactful, and the Narcan is a life-saving medication. If you were to buy this over-the-counter medication at Walgreens, it would cost you about $24. So here's the thing, is that the people who need it can't afford it. And this would make it 24-hour access. We have applied for a grant from Hamilton County. We won't have an answer on that grant probably until May. So with that grant, we would be able to keep 10 boxes a day in that box for 365 days a year. And the Launchpad has agreed to host the grant, which means we'll be checking the box at least 3 times a week to make sure that it's stocked, to make sure the medication, is still safe, because it doesn't like a whole lot of heat, which is kind of one of the reasons that we picked the spot that we picked, so it can kind of be shaded. And so I guess I did bring some statistics about overdoses in 2023, so 174 overdoses. This initiative may save lives by making the medication available when it's needed and exactly where it's needed. So I thank you all for your consideration. And sometimes saving a life comes whether or not the right tool is available at the time that it's needed. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you.
Did you guys have any questions or anything
like
further we could tell you?
Looks like I do have a couple folks on the board. Councilman Harvey.
Yeah, thank you for being here. I'm a nurse and unfortunately have responded to someone in an opioid overdose situation, and I wish I'd had Narcan handily available at the time. So I absolutely think this is a great thing. Just a couple questions. It looks like this is the nasal spray, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so it's relatively easy to use for a common person.
Yes, and if you see on the side of that box, it has kind of how to use it. So the idea is to put a sticker like that on the actual box.
Okay, very good.
So that, I mean, it's pretty simple to figure out and use, and it's not harmful, so.
Okay, and then is it, are you able to put, instead of naloxone, can you put Narcan on the box, or is it, I know that's the generic name, but.
I don't know the answer to that for sure. There's a lot of people who are working on this with me. I had letters of support from at least 4 different organizations when we turned in the grant. So I'm afraid I couldn't answer that with 100% certainty. But I believe that Narcan, is the brand that we're buying.
Right, yeah, okay.
I think it's probably important to address that, though, because most of the people that know about the life-saving drug know it as Narcan.
Right.
So I think we should at least maybe try to put that in parentheses and address that, because they're not going to know what naloxone is. I've heard that word plenty times, but when Shelley said it to me, I was like, oh yeah, that's the actual name of the drug and not the company. But most people know the company.
Right,
So
exactly. That was going to be my recommendation.
I think that is important.
I think so too.
So we do have a local artist who has agreed to design and paint the box for us, so that so it would look nice. But I think definitely having Narcan, somewhere on the box is very important.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
at all possible, yes.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Councilwoman Dotley.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. This is being down at Miller Park. It's going to be fantastic. That is District 7, and all great things happen in District 7. So I am grateful for that. My question is, how will the box be serviced? Who do they call for maintenance, and how often is this happening?
So the box itself, we're going to have it painted and looking really nice, and so that the launch pad, the women, the 52 women that we serve, they love to give back to this community. So together, we're going to all come check the box 3 times a week
Okay.
And make sure that it's in properly working order and that it's got the medication in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to add also that if we see that 3 times a week is not enough, like if it's the Narcan's disappearing every day, we'll come more often. We have 7 staff members now, as well as 52 residents, and they are required to do some community service. So this would be one of the things that qualifies as community service for them.
Okay.
So we fully expect at the beginning for the medication to disappear quickly. And that's okay. That's really what we want. We want this medication out to the people who are going to use it. So we fully expect the first month or so for the medication to be gone almost overnight. But once they realize that it's going to be there,
Right.
then that's really when it will make the most impact.
Okay. That works. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Yep, thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies, thank you so much for your efforts, and I think access is the key, is making sure that people have access. So with that in mind, because we're talking to in our communities all of the time, how can we help you all get the word out? You're just going to have this one location right now that is in, one part of town. So how will information about this become available?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I wish Mark Height were here because he was the king of press releases.
Yeah.
But hopefully we have somebody on our board that can help us to get in touch with the right person and do a press release on it and let that be known that it's there.
And also, the demographic that this is for, word travels quickly. So in that community, they are going to know. They're going to know that the medication's there.
We'll probably announce it in our community circle as well with the meetings that we attend, put a flyer up in all of the locations of our meetings to let people know exactly where it is. And we anticipate that the need will grow.
Yeah, word of mouth is your best advertising.
Yeah.
When you do a flyer or a press release, if you would please share it with our council clerk so that we have it available to send out through the different channels that we use
We
to
would
get
be happy
information
to.
out to the community. We'd love to help. Well, I would love to help. I can't imagine there's anybody up here that wouldn't, so I don't want to speak for everybody else, but that would be great.
I mean, my staff at the Big Chill, we hire a lot of the residents of Cadiz. And I've had staff members have personally Narcaned 4 people in a year's span and saved their lives. So it's really important. We keep it at all my restaurants, we keep it at all of our houses, and we keep it in all of our cars. So
Thank you, Scotty, for all you do, and you all as well, for creating those pathways of hope for people.
thank you. We have a
It's
great
huge.
team and
Yeah.
we're really interested in saving lives. And, the opioid crisis it goes way deep.
Thank you.
Vice Chairwoman Knoll.
Thank you. Hi, Scotty.
Hi,
How are you all? Good. So just a couple of questions. Or do you have concerns as far as the youth being able to have access to it? And the next question would be, how would you keep those from going in there, taking it and actually reselling it? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, we have not thought about
Well,
that. Kelly may have.
We've talked about that and we've discussed that. But there's just not a lot that you can do because the people who really need this medication can't afford it, even if it's resold. So
We feel like the risk of not having it is greater than the risk of having it and it being in the wrong hands. And honestly, I don't know that there is a wrong hand for Narcan to be in whatever avenue that it goes in. So if somebody is trying to resell it, one thing is, hopefully we're going to get the word out that they don't have to, that it's always going to be there and it's, and it's free. It's just, you can't control human nature. And it's hard to stand up here and say these people that need the drug can't afford it because we think about the fact that we spend a lot of time affording our drugs, but the person who's saving the life typically is a family member or a friend, and they're possibly not an addict. But yeah, it's easy to say the addict could afford it if they didn't do the drugs, but the addict's the one that's knocked out and not able to Narcan themselves anyway. So the person that's hands it's in is somebody that can actually save their life.
Okay, so the other question was concern of the youth. having access to it.
That is not something that we have addressed specifically,
Okay.
but the medication is not dangerous, so.
Even if you use the medication and it's not being, if you're riding down the road and you see somebody passed out on the side of the road and you use the medication on them and it's not happened to be an opioid overdose, it does no harm to them.
Okay. Because some people you might have fallout that they just could be having a seizure.
Yeah,
And, you know, people do get them confused.
yes, it's easy to confuse, but there is no harm that comes to them. At least you're trying to give them some kind of medical attention.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Maybe
you
we'll
all.
get one in our neighborhood, Marvin.
Yes, indeed.
Scotty B's.
Yes, indeed. That's, she has a spot in the Great District 8. Yes, indeed. So we share in Scotty, okay?
That looks like that's all of our questions. Thank you all for what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for having us.
Yes.
Okay, council, other resolutions, if you've got any questions, hit your light. We've already talked about purchases. Oh, that's for next week anyway. Okay, let's take a look at our future considerations, please. I would like to go ahead and get a little bit more information in front of the council on item B. And as we are also, item B also discusses, is an item on Volkswagen Drive, which brings up Enterprise South. And I'd like to, after we talk about item B, I'd like to bring up representative from Novonix to talk with us about the potential that they won't be going to Enterprise South. So let's get started, please, with someone to share with us from Economic Development about the contract for sale and purchase with the Cherokee Area Council, the Boy Scout tract.
Council, hi, Richard Beeland, Economic
Hi.
Development Administrator. So this is a piece of property that's adjacent to Enterprise South Parking, or Enterprise South Nature Park and the interstate. It's about a 19 to 20 acre spot. We talked with the county, it came up for sale, and we're jointly purchasing it with them.
Okay, council, do you have any questions about this property? Looks like I've got pretty hot board. Councilwoman Dotley, did you have a question about this one?
I did not.
Okay. Well, then we're going to come back around in a
Okay.
sec. Okay, let's see. Next, we've got Councilwoman Burrs. Did you have a question?
I
about this
did,
one?
yeah.
Okay. You did. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
just a question / comment. So, Richard, as I understand it, from the discussion with administration, there's no plans to do anything with this property at this point.
That's
It's just
correct.
an opportunity that the city and county saw as a joint venture to make sure that we protect the land and have a say-so in its destiny versus a private entity. Is that
That's
my
correct.
understanding?
Right, to be
Okay.
determined.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Councilman Harvey.
That was also my question, just did we have any sort of plans for what this will be used for? Is there anything currently on the site, or is it a wooded area?
Yes, it is just a wooded area. It was owned by the Boy Scouts.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's all.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Kevin, I'd like to ask you to come up and get our Novonix conversation started, please.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kevin Roy, Chief of Staff. Good evening, Council. So this is regarding the newspaper article about Novonix expressing an interest in the property adjacent to their Big Blue facility at the Riverbend. And so I just wanted to, a couple of you guys had raised some questions, particularly around potential implication to the pilot that you approved last year at Enterprise South. And so, one, just wanted to say this is a good sign for the economy. We know that when our local businesses win, we all win. And so notionally, it's exciting that Novonix is looking for additional expansion opportunities. But I also wanted to underscore that this does not change or impact the agreed upon pilot agreement that you guys passed. As Robert Long, the CFO for Novonix, will share here in a moment, this is simply them exploring a potential opportunity. From the administration's perspective, we are going, to ensure that as their due diligence period progresses, and should it evolve into some alternate proposal, one, that does not happen automatically. Any change to that agreement would be subject to the same process that created it in the first place, which means going back through the IDB, through the council, through the commission. But it's incumbent upon all of us to ensure that every dollar of incentive is backed by the investment and by the jobs that we have agreed upon and that this council approved. So with that, I just wanted to invite Robert Long, CFO for Novonix, up to share a little bit more from their perspective in terms of the thinking behind this announcement.
Kevin, remind us, how long is the due diligence period
I think it's 150 days.
150 days.
Yep.
for the pilot?
The due diligence for the announcement of them exploring the adjacent property, there's a 150-day period that they are
Right,
going
but
to be
so,
looking at it.
yeah, okay, so, yeah, I was asking a different question, thinking you were referring to the pilot as it exists.
The pilot's a 15-year pilot.
Right, but remind us what the timeline is on them getting started or us having clawbacks.
So I think it was 2028 is when it was supposed to get started.
I think so. I'd have to follow up, but I believe so. Yeah, there's a period that we're still in assessment, and we haven't bought the Enterprise South property yet, so the pilot's not yet effective.
Pilot start date is January the 1st, 2028, if you elect to go through it.
Thank you very much. We had a pilot in District 2 at the Invista plant that became the Cordsa plant that sat fallow, and we were at the very end. We did not at that point have a cancellation date. So we want to know that we're intending to move forward. So welcome, Robert.
That's right. Thank you, Madam Chair. Robert Long, I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Novonix. Been in Chattanooga my whole life, so great to see some of you again and some of you for the first time. Maybe some background would be helpful. As many of you know, or certain of you may know, we are a public company on the Australian Stock Exchange. The Australian Stock Exchange requires certain disclosure rules that are different and, on the one hand, materially different than the U.S. stock exchange rules like the Securities and Exchange Commission. One big difference is it's under the Australian Stock Exchange is a continuous disclosure regime, which means, and there's a provision that if you enter into a binding or potentially binding transaction, which we've settled on the potential purchase price if we move forward with the land, that is considered a binding transaction, so we had a disclosure obligation. So under just Securities and Exchange Commission rules, we wouldn't necessarily have had to disclose. We could have the same conversations, but not necessarily publicly. So we did, of course, have to remain and want to remain compliant with the Australian Stock Exchange rules. So therefore, the announcement. This is an exploratory assessment right now for the 150-day right of access and exclusivity period we have. We are not assuming anything other than we want to make the best business decision for the business, the shareholders. When this became potentially available, we wanted to explore the property. Just having the plant positioned right next door, there would be maybe obvious efficiencies and opportunities to explore and understand. And so that's what we're doing right now. This is really day one of a 150-day exploratory period to understand the property, what's possible. During that period, as we progress, we'll of course keep the city and the county up to speed. But right now we're in early stages and we're not assuming anything other than we really want to understand the property and its potential.
Okay. When the newspaper knows, before the city council knows, you know that's a problem. Yeah.
Yep, and they knew through other channels.
Okay. Councilman Elliott.
Thanks, Madam Chair. This new piece of property you have, or that you're looking at, where is that located, and does it tip into the footprint of the bend?
It is within the bend. It is directly adjacent to, it's the 17.5 acres directly to the east of our Riverside, the Big Blue building. It's between our building and Riverfront Parkway.
Is it within the TIF boundary of the bend?
I believe it is, and that's, as far as the TIF and the interaction, that's, I'd have to have someone more educated on this.
This may not be a question for you, but how does this impact, I wasn't here when we did the bend project, but how does this impact our agreement with the bend? And I don't know, and colleagues that were here, and Councilman Dolly, I don't know, I think this may be you. Like, yeah, I don't know if we agreed for there to be a master plan for the bend.
There is.
There is?
Well, no, there's no master plan. There's they have their own zone.
Their own zoning. Okay, and I'm assuming this may match the zoning or not. I'm just curious, and I don't know if y'all have the answers for this now, but at some point, how does this impact the bend project and everything else that goes on? Because, the bend being successful also ensures that the west side is successful. But also, I don't know what was promised through that TIF. And is this incongruent with what was promised? I don't know that, but I would like to know, how does this match up?
Sure.
Go ahead.
It's a great question. One, that is something that we would have to answer, because obviously this was not part of the original Bend TIF. But again, we don't know what we don't know. So depending on how this evolves, we would have to figure that out, and we would have to basically, we know that we can have both a pilot and a TIF, right? And we know that the TIF has been approved, and so we would have to figure out how to address that discrepancy, but it's to be determined.
I want to make sure I'm potentially following. Is there potential that we may look to try to move this pilot from Enterprise South to this project here?
The administration is not assuming that at this point. We have an existing pilot agreement in place, and that is what we're operating from.
And so the Big Blue has a pilot.
Oh, it currently has a pilot.
Correct, and then
Both
there's a
locations
second
Okay.
have a
one.
pilot.
But
Okay.
you can't, we do
can't
not
double
allow
stack.
a stack of a pilot and a TIF.
And a TIF. Okay.
But I think your question is more about the intent of the use of the bend and how it would be developed, and is this in keeping with what has been
Yes.
committed
and
by
I'll
the
say,
bend developer?
I'll say this, I've tried to reach out to them a couple times over the last couple of weeks, the folks at the bend, who are running the bend, because I know a couple of my colleagues have mentioned wanting to get updates on that project, in particular for our economic development conversation, since we're having this. And so the administration can have that conversation with them, or we can just, somebody should probably reach out to us, because I've reached out to them twice so far, and I haven't heard back. But council has asked, at least a couple of my colleagues have asked about this project, and I think it's time for us to get an update.
Noted.
So if y'all can help
Assist
us
in that.
that with the bid,
Absolutely.
that would be helpful. Phil, you said something that sparked a question.
Yes,
Are
sir.
we basically about to be in limbo until 2028 as to what we can do with the extra piece of Enterprise South, or?
Whenever that item was actually reviewed initially, they gave two alternate start dates. One was January the 1st of 2028, and the other one was January 1st, 2029.
Okay.
So they had two different option dates that they could elect. We've not seen any election at this point in time yet, and that there's got to be a closure on the property as well.
And can I ask this then? If you all do decide to move forward with the Bend property, will you be relinquishing anything on Enterprise South, or is that something you're looking to still consider through those two start dates?
If we move forward with the bin project, we would relinquish
Okay,
the Enterprise South property
Okay.
with that. So
And that's 187 acres out there.
okay. And yours is 17.
17.5.
17, okay.
That's the assessment. And that's one of the diligence
Okay.
items, is to assess the fit and function of the plant on the potential site.
Okay, and I'll just echo some of what Chairwoman Hill said. I would love for us to be proactive in some of these instances, especially if you know it's going to get disclosed on the front end, just so we're not caught off guard and we're just not firing questions from the hip. As if y'all can just lean in a little bit more in the future. But I'm glad y'all are moving forward, and y'all are wanting to stay in Chattanooga. We want you to stay in Chattanooga, but we just have to make sure that everything is aligned with what was promised to the public, and that we're still doing right by everything that's been established with taxpayer dollars and everything else. So, thank you. That's all, Madam Chair.
Good questions, Councilman, if I do say so myself. All right, Council, we've got Councilwoman Dotley.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair. So just for clarity, I just want to be clear. So at the current moment, this is just investigative phase, no action at the moment. Whatever we have in the pilot stands at the moment. And if you decide to move on the project, we need to figure out how this pilot TIF situation works. Is that, is there anything else I missed?
You got it.
All right, that's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Got it. Okay, Council, moving on to the rest of future considerations. If you've got a question, Councilwoman Dotley, you had hit. Yeah. Oh, yes, sorry.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead, Councilwoman.
okay. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So my question was about item 9 on the Office of the City Attorney. I've gotten a few questions about this, and maybe I missed it. I know I was out a couple of Tuesdays. But the ordinance regarding new orders relative to booting and immobilization of vehicles, will there be a presentation on that, or what's the situation there?
Yes, great question. So Kevin has the exact dates.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman Dotley. Yes, so Charles Frazier of CARTA plans to be here on the 24th to give a presentation prior to consideration first read on the 31st.
Yeah, so your current future considerations document may say the 24th on it, but we're going to move it back a week.
Okay.
So
that
the
works.
council will have a full week to consider.
Okay, that works. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
So council, to reiterate, on the 24th, Charles Frazier from CARTA will come and discuss the booting project that they're discussing. Also is worth noting that this is an ordinance that would put in, Phil, explain it, please.
Yes, there is a new state law.
Sorry, y'all, this migraine is a problem today.
Yeah, there is a new state law that is being followed here in connection with our ordinance. This also allows us to regulate people that would actually have a license to be able to do this on both private lots and on other locations on here. So that's the purpose, and Mr. Frazier will tell you about it.
Yeah, he'll give us full details. And so then we will look at it on the agenda the following week.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On item 10, Brian, is Brian still here? Parks. I would like to get more information on I understand the grant, but I'm just curious as to what the infrastructure plans are for the Greenway, the Brainerd Levee.
Looks like Darren will be covering that for Parks.
Or Darren, even better.
Good afternoon. And after our meeting this morning at 9:30, Councilwoman, we're kind of reshifting the presentation to better clarify what the request is. So we will have a video actually that will help explain, if you'll allow us, indulge us a little bit more time on that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So would we expect that video next week?
I would like that deadline. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, because you are on the agenda for the 24th.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, next week would be great. And I believe, is that the 17th?
17th next week.
Is the 17th?
Yeah.
Spring break.
No, I was going to say 4th of July, but what I meant was St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
It is.
St.
We,
Patrick's
all wear green.
Got it.
We already got the green ring.
Off by one number, off by one holiday. Okay.
Yes.
All right, council, do we have any other questions about future considerations? All right, looks like our board is quiet. Looks like all the questions are answered. We will return at 5 o'clock. We will take a brief recess, and please, council, note that we do have an attorney-client. Were you saying you were hot or you were cold? Oh, okay. When you,
Part 2, Chapter 35, Section 35, 160, Billing and Charges for District Records.
thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Slow it down on Graysville Road. All right, let's take items C and D as a package, please.
Item C, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the unopened right-of-way in the 100 block of Lawn Street is detailed on the attached maps subject to certain conditions. Item D, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 31, Section 31314, Private Property Responsibility to include subsection F, Single Family Residential Pond Program.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we are headed into first reading. We're going to planning items. Let's take planning item A, please, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024, Article 9, Uses, Table 3841.1, Use Matrix, and Section 3842, Principal Use Standards to revise terminology from adult use to adult-oriented establishment.
Second.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item B, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024. Article 9, Uses, Table 3841.1, Use Matrix, to add drive-through facilities as an accessory use in the INST institutional zone.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Council. We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item C.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024. Article 14, Administrators, Section 3872, Notice.
Second.
Thank you, Council. We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. The way that that just ended with notice, that just makes me chuckle. Notice. All right, item D, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1300 and 1335 Mercer Street from RN16 residential neighborhood zone to RN13 residential neighborhood zone.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to withdraw with the proper second. Do you have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to withdraw approved. Item E, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 3886 Agawalla Drive from RN16 residential neighborhood zone to RN3 residential neighborhood zone subject to certain conditions.
Thank you. This is planning case 2025-0190. Is the applicant present? Thank you. Do we have any opposition present? Thank you. Karen, I believe we would like to have a presentation, please. And then what we will do after Karen does a presentation is we will have 7 minutes for the applicant to share their case, and then we'll have 9 minutes for opposition to speak. That 9 minutes for opposition will be shared amongst all who are opposed to the case, and then we'll have a final 2 minutes for the applicant to clarify anything. Go ahead, Karen.
Okay, this is a case I gave a very robust presentation on last week, so I might streamline it a little bit, and if there's questions, I can answer that at the end. So this is case number 2025-190. This has been deferred a couple times. And just to help you orient again, this is Agawilla Drive, 2886 Agawilla, has the pin in it. This is the intersection of Northmore, Shallowford, and Wilcox. It's the request to rezone from RN16 to the RN3 residential neighborhood zone. The original request was for 79 units. As we discussed last week, that unit count was reduced during the planning process. The applicant did have proposed conditions. I'm going to skip over them now because additional conditions were added through the process. So the property is a mix of land uses, including multi-unit and single-unit residential, commercial, and institutional uses. The land use, the zoning is very reflective of the land use pattern. The brown RN3 zone to the left is Eastwood Manor, which is senior housing, and then there's a vacant property owned by New Hope Missionary Baptist, also shown there. The commercial zones are at the intersection of Shallowford and Northmore. So staff did note that the request is compatible with adjacent land uses at that node, and that it is an extension of that RN3 zoning. This is just a little bit of zooming out. I think that you'll hear from some of the neighbors that are shown here, particularly the Indian Hills neighborhood that abuts the site. We had the original site plan. I think the applicant's going to speak to some of the differences there. Staff noted that the North Brainerd area plan recommends single-family residential development as the dominant form, with some exceptions made for townhomes, patio homes, or two-family dwellings if the density is compatible. But the plan also has goals to maintain residential integrity while supporting appropriate residential and commercial development and strengthening single-family residential development while allowing a diversity of residential uses. We also discussed that the draft plan Chattanooga had a similar recommendation with some moderate density residential development, such as small lot homes or attached townhomes may exist on major streets or near a transit route or school. So the site is located at a neighborhood node next to commercial, multi-unit residential, and institutional land uses. It is served by transit. Although the request for multi-unit residential is different from the specific recommendation in the plan, it does comply with other plan goals to provide a diversity of residential housing while supporting appropriate residential and commercial development. The site plan depicts a residential form more closely resembling townhomes than the massing of larger footprint apartment-style buildings. So staff recommended approval with the two additional conditions showed in black there. So the applicant had proposed the conditions in red, and then to support kind of the more townhouse massing, that condition number 2 is added, and then the condition for the number of units. There was opposition present at Planning Commission, interest in keeping the existing RN16 zone, desire to have additional meetings with the neighborhood, concerns about traffic and rental use. Planning Commission did find that with conditions, the development form, the projects is appropriate, similar development form and adjacent land uses to the area. And Planning Commission had similar conditions, except that unit count dropped to 67 units. As the process went along, that was one of the changes. So the conditions are intended to address some of the concerns with traffic and access and just the amount of development on the site, including that maximum building height of 35 feet. I'm happy to answer any questions now, or there are slides that the applicant would like to present.
I think we can move to the applicant slides and like to welcome the applicant to the podium. You will have 7 minutes to present your case.
Great. Good evening, Council. My name is Alan Jones of Stone Creek Consulting. So this project, I've been working with Councilman Clark for quite a while on this project. Unfortunately, he's still recovering from an illness today. So I do know at the end of this presentation, I would be encouraging or asking for a 2-week deferral, so that way we can have a chance to come back here and let him, hear any other concerns and any other information that comes out from today's meeting. But as far as the process goes, I think, let me see if so let me go back to the original. So this was the original site plan that we presented with the rezoning case, and we had a total of 79 units. And after kind of working with him, we wanted to find a way to reduce the density to not make it as intrusive for the 79 units. And so what we did with the revised site plan is looking at reducing it from 79 to 67 units. And what this does is introduces a mix of housing types. This allows the project to have both some single-story, kind of call them cottage court-style houses that can be, maybe geared a little bit more toward some older residents that might be looking for a single story, whether it's for purchase or for sale. And then the rest of the units, they back up against the existing R3, which is the apartment complex behind it, or the kind of the vacant commercial that's along Wilcox Boulevard and Chalford Road. And then along the frontage along Aguila Drive, it's providing no street cuts for individual driveways. This is a way to clean up the street as you're going back into the Indian Hills subdivision. And this option would provide two-car garage parking for all of the units, but then surface parking for the two cottage courts. A lot of rezoning cases I work with, my client has a property under contract and is pending the zoning change. That's not the case with this project. My client owns this property. He's owned it for quite a few years now, and so he is looking to develop this property. So Councilman Clark had asked me to, basically says, well, if this doesn't move forward, what are you going to do? You're just going to build 5 homes on it? What are you going to do with this property? So we went through and developed a plan of what could be done, just because, my client is going to develop the property. So we went through and kind of utilizing what's called the cottage court guidelines that are in the zoning ordinance that's allowable in the RN16 would basically be a kind of a duplex style development for this project. This one would have a total of 36 total units. We'd kind of do a combination of individual single-family lots that would be subdivided along Aguila, put in a street with a cul-de-sac, and then having those cottage court duplexes kind of coming off of that cul-de-sac. With this style, it's a lot more surface parking. This would definitely be a rental project as opposed to a for sale unit style project. The request for the higher densities so that we can create a higher quality product, something that can be for sale or for rent. There could be a combination of, but also with the proposed plan that we're trying to achieve. I'm going to go the other direction. With this direction, my client's also willing to work with, I think I can't remember the official title of it, but there's a focus for first responders. So he wants to be able to incentivize first responders to move into this community, whether it's firefighters, firemen, that kind of thing, or policemen, in a way to kind of entice some of the service people that work for the city and the county to be able to have a place that they can afford. But after that, with that, I'll just leave it to any questions that the city council may have, and I'll let the opposition speak.
Okay, council, do we have any questions? Councilman Elliott.
I have one question. This alternative plan, would it require rezoning?
No, sir. Let me back up. Yeah, this plan would be completely, we could develop this within the RN16 subdivision. This would be we'd do a simple preliminary plat subdivision to Planning Commission and RPA. And then as long as it meets the subdivision requirements, it would get approved. And then we would just go through the traditional land disturbance permit process.
Right, that's it.
And the council member wouldn't have any kind of really feedback in that process.
Okay. That's all, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Dotley.
Yes, so for this, hello, how you doing?
Hey, good, how are you?
Good. So for this particular plan, how many units is this again? How many?
This one's 36.
36 units with no rezoning needed.
Correct.
So I just asked that because that was up. But my question was, what were the issues with the opposition? What were what was the main thing that came up?
Main thing is traffic, and keeping the single-family detached style of homes. If you look at the overall area map, and I think Karen had shown it. Yeah, here we go. The way this site is situated, it's kind of it can be seen as the entrance to the Indian Hills subdivision, because they have 2 entrance points. I can't remember the street name, but it's a little bit further to the left, past the ARC2 zone. It's the entrance. It's not in their neighborhood, but it's the entrance of their neighborhood. So, kind of introducing a different housing type than your single-family ranch-style house.
Okay.
And then plus the traffic that it would generate.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Chair.
Can you go back, Alan, please? Okay. Can we go to the drawing? So, yeah, let's go to this drawing. Okay, so cottage courts are really a pretty cool build style with the parking separate and the potential to, create community within the courts themselves. But it looks like what you are suggesting is a single-family house with an attached ADU as a way to affect, like you said, you're creating duplexes.
Correct.
So the way that these are designed would not be in keeping with our requirements, because if I'm remembering correctly about ADUs, the door to the ADU cannot be on the front of the property. So I'm thinking that this design probably isn't entirely representative of what
The
would be.
elevation's probably not 100% correct, but as far as the ADU, using the ADU tool for that kind of duplex style, yes, it would be, the primary house would probably be 12 to 1,400 square feet. And then that secondary unit would be, 800 square feet or less. And the ADUs do allow for whether it's attached or detached.
Yes.
And I hate to use ADU as a negative term because I think it's a very positive term, especially when you look at some, providing infill housing for Chattanooga. But this is really a way to, and the front door could be, on the side or the rear for that secondary unit, or it could even be in the rear.
Yeah, I mean, ADUs and cottage courts to me are both terrific development tools. I wouldn't want this to be seen as well, you better do what we want or we're going to.
No, and it's not that. I think what this plan does is the rezoning plan provides us a good opportunity, I think, to isolate how many street cuts we have along the street, only 2 points of access into the development, and also, a good way to be able to provide, I think, better parking requirements. With the zoning change, we'd have to do 2 cars per unit. With this option, we wouldn't have to have as much parking requirements because ADU does not require parking.
So you said that, and this is within your rights as property owners, but you said that if you were going to build this model, you would be more rental versus ownership. Why is that?
So with the ownership route, going back to this version, this would allow, with the higher density, you can create a higher quality product that would be better suited for sale. And also, in my understanding of the community, this is a nice community. So we want to be able to provide something that's of nice quality. And with higher infrastructure costs and things like that, we would have to keep on the 36 units. It's very similar as far as, the infrastructure requirements. But when you can share the infrastructure across more units, you can kind of, you can put more quality into the homes and have a better product.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Councilman Henderson.
On this site plan here, I do know that, and I was at that meeting, many of the concerns were the fact that it wasn't in character with the rest of the neighborhood. Why did you not put the single family dwelling, the detached, along, you pronounce it?
Aguela.
Aguela. Aguela. I guess if you say it fast enough, you can get by with mispronouncing it. Why would you have not put the single family along that line and then put the quads kind of where the single family, so that it, I guess, would give that appearance of having the single family?
And that's a fair question. And, and that's, with the zoning, this is not the final site plan. This is probably close. But when you come to, with the house that's right there, the RN16 label is behind those 4 single-family houses, or the thought was, let's have a better transition from that single-family house that's there, instead of having a wall of townhomes behind them, and then having, those, and then putting some more of that density along Aguela. But with that density along Aguela, you're still not having individual driveways, so. But, but could we look at putting putting 2 townhome blocks backing up to the single-family resident to the north and single families along Aguela? Absolutely.
Well, I was just thinking of the, the perception of having the same characteristics as the rest of the neighborhood, because I know that was a concern.
Right. And to be fair, the characteristic of this neighborhood is going to be a challenge for any developer to achieve in Chattanooga.
Well, I get it. I mean, yeah.
Half-acre lots on a ranch house.
Ranch-style house, I get it, but certainly, single-family detached would be more in keeping than a quad. the next thing, what is in the conditions that would spell out the focus on first responders? Like, what is, what's the hook for the stable, long-term residents with a focus on?
The focus on that one is with this style, he is looking at doing, having these also for sale. This would be an HPR style development, so they can be sold fee simple with their traditional mortgage. Now, you can't put anything in zoning that, states you have to have some, you can't income cap and things like that from a zoning perspective. I think it's illegal. I'll defer to our city attorney on that one. But my understanding is you can't put those kind of conditions in that restrict income barriers or, types of people that are going to be living there. But in talking with my client, he is committed to, if he can get the higher density, he's committed to working with the first responder community and providing some of those discounts.
Well, understand from our perspective, if we don't see it in writing,
100%.
then it doesn't exist.
Understood.
So
Yeah,
just something to think about.
understood.
That's it, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I believe we have some opposition. If you would like to come to the podium to share your concerns, we welcome you now. There will be 9 minutes on the clock to be shared amongst all opposition. And when you're here, please do give us your name and your address for our records, please.
I wouldn't mind if you went back to the,
I see this side?
right there. That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, can we get 9 minutes on the clock, please?
Hi, my name is Shelley Stevens, and I am a resident in the neighborhood. We are not expecting the lot to stay empty. That is an unrealistic expectation. Our main primary concerns are the amount of traffic in the 90-degree bend. That is a blind corner at the entrance into the neighborhood. Also, the perspective, it doesn't really show it very well, but there is an actual cutout into that neighborhood just left of the 90-degree bend. That is a primary concern for us. It's already pretty much a head-to-head situation when you come around the curve. Also, where Aguila hits Shallowford, Wilcox, there's no left turn signal for us to exit our neighborhood. We have a signal, but we can't turn left onto Shallowford to exit. We could go right or we could go straight, but not left. And with the increase in the Chattanooga traffic, especially with the development on the interstate, the additional traffic that Boyd Buchanan has brought in with their recent expansion, it's almost impossible to turn left and get out. We don't oppose a development in our neighborhood. We love our neighborhood. More neighbors would be great. What we do want to is just spend a little extra time on the amount of traffic and the impact it would have on us, especially in a dangerous situation. And I think one thing that people have overlooked is the sight line that's bordered up to the commercial property. There's actually a significant drainage ditch that exits into South Chickamauga Creek, and there is flooding prone to that area. So that lot will have to be filled in. We just are concerned as to what happens with the water runoff at that point, because it's a low-lying area. Traditionally, in the past, the property is flooded almost all the way up to the A in Aguila on your map. So we are just concerned, and we have some concerns, and we would just like to slow the process down a bit to address those concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Cynthia Stanley Cash, 1703 Ganasita. I hate to say we're here in opposition as far as we have been getting along. We know Mr. And you all posed a lot of good questions as far as those are our concerns as far as the style of the units and all that. And Councilman Henderson, like that was a good point as far as positioning the structures that fit the houses in the community, in the neighborhood. We have like up to 69, I think, homes. They're all home-owned homes and up to 45 years of living in the community. We love our community, and that's been like a sanctuary in that area. So we heard a lot more here, and we want to give thanks to the Regional Planning Commission as far as they have given us 2 deferrals as far as to have the opportunity to sit down with our councilmen and the developers and discuss more of their plans. And that started in December, January, and February. So we're hearing more here, and we have gotten a commitment to meet with the developer and the council person, especially since the deferral, the meeting, the next meeting, Councilman Elliott mentioned as far as delaying it to March 24th. So hopefully the councilman will be available. And again, sometimes we're not in opposition, we're just in the dark. You know, as far as we've been protecting that area like a green space area with wildlife and all that. And it's just so many other developments going on in the area, District 5 and 9. And we got pigs and hogs and boars running around and deer. They're being misplaced. And so this is a win-win. Thank you all.
Thank you. Do we have any other opposition here that would like to speak? Okay, looks like we've got everybody. Would our applicant like to come back and say anything else in the remaining 2 minutes?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I would like to ask Alan, given that Councilman Clark is not here, we have a similar issue in District 2 related to needing a left turn signal. If you could just make a note to consider, I know it wouldn't be your job as the representative, but in those conversations, for somebody to talk to Public Works to see about if there's a different way to time that light as part of our overall retiming.
And I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I believe Councilman Clark's already initiated that discussion with Public Works.
Fabulous, okay, because, I mean, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That you need to be able to turn left and to have a protected turn, even just for a few moments without a separate lane, could be helpful.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Elliott.
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion to defer this until March 24th.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to defer until March 24th with a proper second. Councilman Harvey.
I would just add, Alan, if you all would look at that blind spot turn, I don't know if there's anything, and again, Councilman Clark may be looking into this, but I think that's a concern as well. We can try to address.
Correct, and that's something that's going to come through the land disturbance permit process as well, whether it's through a rezoning or through the existing zoning.
Okay.
But we'll definitely look at that.
Thank you.
And I will add, just for the record, sometimes it's nice to hear something from the dais that when a development like this goes in, there is a requirement for all the water to be captured on the site. And so the concerns that the community has about the flooding are very rational concerns and practicalities that would absolutely be required to be addressed by the developer when the land disturbance permit is considered. Okay, council, looks like we have cleared our question queue, so I sure did. So all in favor of deferring until the 24th? Aye. Opposed? Motion to defer passes. Thank you all. Appreciate your input. Item F, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2149 West Shepherd Road from RN2 residential neighborhood zone to TRN3 traditional residential neighborhood zone.
Thank you. This is planning case 2025-0189. Is the applicant present? I think I recognize you from earlier. Do we have any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman Burrs, this is in your district.
Yes, Karen was going to make a short presentation because we have some new information regarding some conditions. I think she was going to talk about that briefly.
Okay.
The applicant had drafted some additional conditions, and we just provided a few tweaks to those after review. So there were, right now that's written as a rezone to TRN3, traditional residential neighborhood zone. The three proposed conditions are maximum building height of 35 feet, a 100-foot maximum width per building mass, and then massed building, which is another term we use more commonly, and 10-foot landscape buffer along the southern property line.
So Karen, I just have a question. This may be for you as well, Alan. You explained that changing the massing from 4 units to 100 feet
Sure.
Yeah, if you'll explain that just a little bit further.
Right, so at the neighborhood meeting that we had last week, the residents were good with kind of the scale of the townhouses. But one of the questions was, can we have some one-story unit options? And then I think either you or another member in the audience had mentioned, well, you could have like an 800 square foot unit on one floor and 800 square foot on the other floor, which would be really cool, but if we limit ourselves to 4 units, now we can't do that option.
So you could do 3 units like
Yeah,
that
you could do
versus
3
a 4?
units like that,
Okay.
but this one would give us an option to still have the same kind of building mass that we presented at the meeting. But if you took one of those units and made it, 1 unit below, 1 unit above, now you've got 5, but that wouldn't meet that 4 requirement. But this just gives the developer some flexibility to help provide some of those more ground floor, 1-bedroom options that they were asking for.
Good. Okay, well, thank you for taking that back to the drawing board and coming up with some options. I think they'll be pleased by that. I think that the idea of people being able to age in place in that community
Yes.
is very desirable, and I think they made that clear.
They did.
So I'm glad that you all are able to come up with something to offer them, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's all I have. I'm ready to make a motion unless anybody else has any questions.
Go ahead and make the motion. If they have a question later, we'll get it.
Okay, all right. I'd like to make a motion to approve the zoning change with the conditions that Karen Rennick listed, and you said you got those?
Yeah, I got them. We need to amend it to add those conditions, yes.
Yes, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the zone, to approve the zoning change.
Okay, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second.
Okay, now I'd like to make a motion to amend to add the following conditions. Maximum building height of 35 feet, 100-foot maximum width per building mass, and then 10-foot landscape buffer along the southern property line.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to amend with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to, we've gotten that passed. Can I get a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve as amended with a proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
This is to approve as amended, just for the record-y record. All in favor to approve as amended, that has passed, I believe unanimously, but just in case, opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item G, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 1010 East 3rd Street from CN Neighborhood Commercial Zone to INST Institutional Zone.
This is zoning case number 2026-0016. Is the applicant present? Thank you. Do we have any opposition present? Vice Chairwoman Knoll, this is in your district.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I did speak with them, and that was one of the issues that we had last week. So, and then something else was really going to benefit the Great District A is that they are going to allow other individuals other than their patients to actually have use of the pharmacy, which is a great thing for us.
That is great.
So I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item H, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property in the 700 block of North Greenwood Avenue from RN 15 residential neighborhood zone to RN 13 residential neighborhood zone.
Thank you. This is zoning case 2026-0022. Is the applicant present? Thank you. Do we have any opposition present? All right, Vice Chairwoman Knoll, this is in your district.
Okay, Ms. Rennick, can you come and give us a little short presentation, please?
Yes. This case has a lot of math, but I'm going to just kind of skip to the end.
Yes.
So this is, you can kind of see maybe on this picture the best, there's one lot, and then there's a portion of 2 lots. And so in order to subdivide this property, in order to have 2 lots, so it's basically, felt like, in order to subdivide the property, in order to have 2 single-family homes, the applicant needs the RN13 zoning. And so we just looked at the frontages, we looked at the lot size, and we felt that this was compatible and would allow the construction of 2 single-family homes. And just a reminder, ADUs are not a permitted use right now in the RN13, so it would be 2 single-family homes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Rennick.
Yes.
Mr. Kiefer, yeah, you want to come up and say anything?
Oh, certainly, yeah. If you'd like, we can put 7
Yeah.
minutes on the clock, please.
Yeah, stated, the plan is to rezone it and split it into 2 equal lots, 40 by 95 for 2 single-family homes. That should go with the neighborhood. It's all, the current existing homes. So no ADUs, no, nothing else.
Okay. Oh, praise the Lord, thank you. Because that is going to be such a major change for that street. That street down on that lower end doesn't have a good look. So it's definitely going to be a major improvement. So I can use some chocolate kisses for that. That's doing well. Okay, so I thank you, Mr. Yes.
Do you want to make a motion?
Yes, so I make a motion to approve happily.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments? I have one question. I just want to confirm with RPA and with the applicant that you actually own the lots that we're taking from for this on either side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we never want to assume we're cutting people's side. Thank you very much. Okay, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Questions and comments have been answered. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Yes.
Item I, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to lift condition number 1 from ordinance number 13576, a previous case number 2019-0133 on property located at 1305 Anderson Avenue, tax map number 146JD012 only, subject to the following conditions shall remain.
Thank you. This is planning case 2025-0151. Is the applicant present? Do we have any opposition present? All right, Councilman Elliott, this is in your district. I do not see an applicant or opposition. All right, council, we have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. All right, item J, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 2212 Bailey Avenue from RN2 residential neighborhood zone to TRN3 traditional residential neighborhood zone.
Thank you. This is planning case 2026-0008. Is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman Elliott, this is in your district. I see no applicant or opposition. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Resolutions, item A, please.
A resolution authorizing the creation of a strategic plan to address litter problems across all city communities, to deploy any available funds with a specific emphasis on utilizing stormwater dollars, and to explore putting out contracts or hiring dedicated staff whose purpose is to clean up local communities.
Thank you. Council, can I get a motion?
Motion approved. Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Let's take items B and C as a package, please.
Item B, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic Development to enter into a first agreement to exercise option to renew with Chattanooga Area Regional Transportation Authority in substantially the form attached for the use of the property at 3937 St. Elmo Avenue, further identified as tax map number 155OE011 for use as a pop-up skate park for an additional term of 6 months through October 31, 2026 at the rent of $1. Item C, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic Development to enter into a first agreement to exercise option to renew with Cassette LLC DBA Cassette Skate Shop in substantially the form attached to sublease the premises at 3937 St. Elmo Avenue, further identified as tax map number 155OE011, for the operation of a temporary pop-up skate park for an additional term of 6 months through October 31, 2026, at the rent of $1.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item D, please.
A resolution authorizing a spend limit increase for existing Axon blanket contract PA 100209 year 5, increased by $300,000 to accommodate in-car camera system equipment purchase and installation for the Chattanooga Police Department's new vehicle fleet, representing an increase of $1,403,999.79 to $1,703,999.16 annual spend limit for a consistency of the Axon camera product through the CPD fleet.
Did anybody notice that the cents have changed on that, and yet it was a round number? It's neither here nor there. Probably it's 13 cents, but we're increasing it by 300,000? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second, and we have a potential of very few cents difference that we may have the opportunity to do another resolution for next week. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, let's take items E and F as a package, please.
Item E, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's reappointment of Nicholas going into the Head Start Governing Board for a term beginning on April 3, 2026 and ending on April 2, 2028. Item F, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Lonnie McGee to the Beer Board for a term beginning on March 11, 2026 and ending on March 10, 2029.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with the proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Are either of these folks here? Well, maybe you're with us on the internet. Thank you so much for your service to our community. Item G, please.
A resolution amending resolution number 32544 by authorizing the Office of the City Attorney to add and engage Valerie L. Malwich to the law firm of Grant, Lincoln, and Harrison PC for legal services for the period of February 23, 2026 through June 30, 2026.
Move to approve.
Ms. Valerie? Yes. Councilman Elliott?
Does Valerie still work for us?
She just retired.
She retired on the 20th of February,
Dang.
and we might need her on a few things that are still floating.
I feel like, yes, I didn't know
There's
she
so much,
retired.
we're hiring her back.
If you could hear us, Valerie, I didn't know you retired. Thank you. She's a huge asset for the city and a wealth of knowledge. So
Yeah.
I know it's going to be difficult to fill in your office, but I know you got a good team. I
Yes.
just didn't know she retired.
Yes.
And so I skimmed over this part. I just saw Valerie. I was like, oh, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So,
She snuck out.
okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Purchases. We have a new face for purchases. Weston's going to be reading them from here on out.
Yes. So,
Hey, you gotta
bear with me.
get your auctioneer voice going.
Good evening, Weston Porter, CFO of the city. We have 9 purchases recommended for approval this evening. The first one is for Treasury. It's a year 4 renewal. Loomis Armored is requesting a 2% increase due to the increase in labor and insurance cost. The annual limit will remain the same at $50,000. Number 2 is Traffic Operations Public Works. Again, year 4 renewal. Avery Dennison is requesting a 5% increase due to the increase in the cost of raw material and transportation. The estimated annual spend will remain the same at $354,000. Number 3 is for wastewater. This is a one-time purchase to cover past due invoices for sewer video and sonar inspection services for wastewater. This purchase from Amtech Surveying will be in the amount of $126,477.21. Number 4 is Technology Services. This is a new agreement for records management software upgrade to include license, maintenance, and support for police with an implementation fee of $395,123.44 and no charge for year 1 for maintenance and support. This will be a 5-year agreement with Central Square in the amount of $504,580.80 with a 3% increase annually utilizing Sourcewell contract. Fleet Management Division, Public Works. This is a new agreement for vehicle preventative maintenance services. This will be a 4-year agreement not to exceed $130,000 annually. The awards will go to East Ridge Fast Loop and Highland Tire and Auto as the best bids. Number 6 is again Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a new agreement for automotive parts. This will be a 4-year agreement not to exceed $200,000 annually. The award will go to Mid-America Auto Parts as the best bid. Number 7 is with the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a one-time purchase of a Ford F-550 truck to be used by wastewater. This purchase from Nichols Fleet Equipment will be in the amount of $389,013.35 utilizing the HGAC cooperative agreement. Number 8 is for Technology Services. Technology Services is requesting an increase of $305,493.71 to agreement PA 100827 to cover the renewal increase and additional license for Oracle Cloud ERP. The new annual estimated spend will be $1,268,402.38. And finally, number 9, again, Technology Services, they're requesting an increase of $9,690 to agreement PA 100828 for Oracle Automated Testing Services to cover the final invoice. The new estimated spend will be $122,190.
Okay, thank you very much. Council, you have heard the purchase request for this evening. What is your pleasure?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Great. We have 4 RFPs this evening. We're requesting approval for these. They are all for human resources. This is not a request for approval to award, just to issue the RFPs. Number 1, Human Resources is seeking life and disability insurance and FMLA management for the City of Chattanooga employees benefit package. Number 2, Human Resources is seeking vision insurance for the City of Chattanooga employees benefit package. Number 3, Human Resources is seeking pharmacy benefit management for the City of Chattanooga employees benefit package. And number 4, Human Resources is seeking health plan administration services for the City of Chattanooga employee benefits package.
Second.
Thank you. Council, we have a motion on the floor to approve these RFP format recommendations with a proper second. Do I have any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And we do have one sole source purchase to report this evening for the fire department. This is a one-time purchase of a Super X Strut Rescue Jack vehicle stabilization system to be used by the fire department at a cost of $49,176.80.
Thank you very much. Okay, council, someone checked my math on item D, and we do need to reconsider that item. I wasn't crazy. I was actually incredibly clever. So, Madam Clerk, we are going to, we're going to need to go back to that one, please. Council, can I get a motion to reconsider item D, resolution item D? That is 9D.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Okay, so folks, here's what we're going to do. We're going to reconsider this. We've got a motion on the floor to reconsider with a proper second. All in favor of reconsidering?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We're going to reconsider this. So what would be really helpful would be if we can get an amendment on the floor. And Madam Vice Chair has the number for the amendment. So first, can I get a motion on the floor to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Can I get a motion to amend to this?
Okay, we have a motion to amend for $1,703,999.79.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a, hold on, let me think real quick. We have a motion on the floor to amend with a proper second. Do we have any questions or comments about that? All in favor of?
Aye. Sorry.
All in favor of the amendment? Teamwork, we're getting there. Okay, great. Can I get a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve as amended with a proper second. Do we have any questions or comments? All in favor to approve as amended?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, there we go. We got those cents. Now, what I can't tell you is how many cents difference that is. I can't do that off the top of my head. I'm not going to.
Leffler, give us those cents difference.
63. Don't let anybody tell you this council is not paying attention to the pennies.
We love our brown cents.
Okay, indeed. Okay, committee reports. Councilman Elliott.
No report, Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Dotley.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I was distracted by Madam Vice Chair. Yes, we will have a budget working group to discuss Dr. Acuff's research on Tuesday, March 31st. That is start at 9 a.m. council, so be ready, and I'll be sending you out some additional documentation. We'll be discussing that as well as finalizing those four budget policies to hopefully move those to our agenda. Okay, that's it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Councilwoman Burrs.
No report.
Councilman Henderson. Councilman Davis.
Yes, we will have a Parks and Public Works Committee meeting next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you. Councilman Harvey.
No report.
Councilman Clark is not here. Vice Chairwoman Knowles.
No report, but the brown cent was because the pennies are brown, okay? So let me get some clarity on that.
They are, if only we still made them.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I still got a jar full.
Oh, don't we all? All right, other business, Mr. Attorney.
Yes, would like to announce that we were in a trial last week in front of Judge Peck in Division 2 of Circuit Court. We were scheduled for 2 days. After the first day of trial, we at least had an agreement with the attorney on the other side to reduce his demands in that case. And I would like to announce the settlement in the case involving Trotter versus the city of Chattanooga for the sum of $250,000 based upon the injuries this lady had.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have reached the point in our meeting where we are happy to recognize folks who are here that would like to address the council. If you are here and would like to speak this evening, please line up behind the podium and listen while our attorney reads the rules.
Yes, ma'am. At the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council, and here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone provided up front for that purpose. Can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within the legislative and judicial, quasi-judicial authority of the council, and not upon matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. You can't engage in any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address your comments to the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. And lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited by Tennessee law, and someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, Mr. Bell.
Well, thank you, Mr. Attorney, Counsel. Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, man with the $1 trillion voice, 727 East 11th Street. I still refer to it as the community kitchen. Exposure, and the lack thereof. I'm not sure how I want to start my little 3 minutes because as an entertainer, I've never had to talk about men pursuing me. Never had to talk about that. It's a strange conversation. And I think that I'm going to get into a new hobby. clock cleaning. I've got to clean some clocks around here. There's a lot of people in my city, this county and state. It seems to be way back there in 1778. I've got a book here that's called The United States Constitution for Everyone. It seems to be outdated. It's sad to say that as a broadcaster, and I've been in this profession ever since I was 13, I've never needed anybody to advertise Monty Bail. I don't need it now. I retired when I was 28 to get away from people who had a problem being who they were. I never had that challenge in radio, television, or the newspaper printing, but I got it down when legal matters. I'm gonna just play this.
Mr. Knowles, anything for you, sir? I can answer for you. Anything I can help with? Well, I guess the only thing is we've not been served with any of these documents at all in this case, and we've not been made a party to our knowledge here. There was a motion for restraining order and preliminary injunction listing the city that was apparently filed yesterday in court, but that's the only notice we've got. It's never been served. Well, I think all you got to do, Mr. Knowles, look at the rules of civil procedure. I can't assist Mr. Bell. He has every right to represent himself, and I appreciate that, but I can't assist him in service of process and those type of things. So obviously, if you never get served with process, then you ought to participate. Yes, sir. That's up to you. Okay.
Never been served in the life of Monty Bail, but you're there. You weren't served. I'm in the clock business. I'm gonna clean your clock. I've had enough of you, sir.
Is there anyone else here who would like to address the council tonight? Council, I don't see anyone else in line who would like to address the council. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn with a proper second. Do we have any further questions or comments? All in favor of adjourning? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.